this video, we're going to be taking a walk through the HEX ecosystem. Full disclosure, I've held HEX for over a year. I think this is one of the longest and strongest communities in crypto, and the ecosystem is cementing itself into the now as well as the future of decentralized finance. In this video, we're going to talk what is HEX, what happens when you stake HEX, how much money can you make from HEX, is it a scam, who's behind it. I'll give you some updates to the upcoming Pulsechain launch, as well as a simple strategy for that. So roll the intro, roll the disclaimer, and let's dive right in. HEX is the first high-yield blockchain certificate of deposit. CDs or certificate of deposits are worth trillions of dollars. It is one of the most default banking products that you'll find globally. And when you stake HEX, you are creating a blockchain certificate of deposit. You're making a smart contract between yourself and the blockchain to lock up that amount of money for a certain amount of time, and you'll be rewarded depending on the amount you lock up as well as the time that you lock up. If you lock it up for an amount of time that's about the average in the system, which is about 6.5 years, you're looking at about 38% per year. Now those returns are denominated in HEX, so there will be some fluctuation with that. Currently it's sitting around 14 cents per HEX. At the end of last year, we hit an all-time high around 50 cents, and you'll see that the system has been going for about 2.5 years. And as we're going into the Pulsechain and Pulseswap launch, I do think it's a good time to remember that the people who have done tremendously well and rode a 10,000x in HEX, or have multiplied their bags by 10,000 times, were people that got in here and patiently waited well over a year for HEX to really start seeing some mass adoption. So what's happening? Why does HEX always seem to go up when the rest of the market goes down? Well, I think it has something to do with the proof of weight function, where you're not looking at trading, you're looking at locking your money up, and you're starting to monetize the time value of money. In the HEX system, in the HEX community, they call it proof of weight. So we're starting to see a little bit of action right now. I think this is a time to consider buying HEX as opposed to on the runs up, when everyone's coming in expecting to make money. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people right here, seeing that they're missing out. But don't worry, try to overcome that fear of missing out, because when people are FOMOing, you're also going to get a nice little dump here when the price starts correcting. Okay, so look at this long term. This token has been designed to not trade. This token has been designed to monetize patience and delay gratification. So let's look at who's behind it. One of the most controversial figures in crypto, Richard Hart. He live streams for hours a day. He's very transparent about his motivations, and he's come from the old school 90s 2000 internet marketing. He made billions then, and started in Bitcoin. He actually was a Bitcoin maxi, but then decided to code a better version of Bitcoin, which actually pays people for holding, as opposed to just the value of your bag increasing. So let's take a look at his motivation.
What is it that keeps you motivated, man? What is it
Glory.
At this point? Glory. Okay.
Glory.
Explain.
I'm significance driven, man. So I want to be the best if I can be it. And there are some things I can be the best at.
Okay.
So I want to have the best performing asset that's ever existed in the history of mankind. I want to have the best performing cryptocurrency that's ever existed in the history of mankind. I want to be the best person that I can be. I would love to cure a lot of diseases. For me, I'm not afraid of death. When you're dead, you don't notice you're dead. You're out of the game. It don't matter. Like once you're dead, you're out. But before that moment, I'm going to put up the fight. I'm going to fight while I can still stand on my feet instead of laying down and dying with a whimper instead of a bang. I'm not dying with a whimper. I'm going to push hard and do the best that I can because I don't fear death, but I do fear not doing the best I can.
Now, is it a scam? Is it a cult? Let's dive into what's going on here, because I know when an outsider looks, coming from a traditional financial world, comes in and takes a look at what's going on here. They see a cult, they see a Ponzi scheme, they see a pyramid scheme. What I see is a blockchain certificate of deposit that is a finished product that is going to be representative of the crypto space and the opportunities we have in decentralized finance into the future. The banks are being replaced with people and brands like this. And I know that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I think the people who are more open-minded to this are going to start seeing what's going on here, because there is no referral program in HEX. Now, that's not to say that if you own HEX, you benefit by spreading the word about it and increasing adoption. More people in the system increases the value of bags. And that's another uncomfortable truth that I think a lot of people are having trouble or not sure how to process right now, is that we're all essentially network marketers of the various cryptos that we own and that we speak about. We're essentially growing the value of our bags in an indirect way, and referral programs just give it a very direct way to be compensated for growing that network. But in HEX, it's amazing the community that has been formed. And what is a cult? A cult is a people with a shared belief that's usually strange or obscure from the mainstream. So when we're looking at traditional stock market investments, we're looking at which brands have a cult-like following. So I think there's definitely a cult-like following in HEX. Is that a good thing for the brand? I think so. We're having people who are finding a lot of value in this ecosystem, the teachings of Richard Hart, as well as the financial benefits from using a product like HEX, as well as the actual payouts of the HEX staking product. Okay, so is it a scam? Well, take a look for yourself. I mean, this is the code of HEX that is embedded into a 2019 block of the Ethereum blockchain. It can't be edited. It's there for everyone to see. It's completely up to you whether you want to interact with this contract. There's about 8.7 billion locked up. Right now, only about 10% of the total supply is locked up. What we're seeing is that the duration of an average stake is increasing to 6.44 years. Okay, so that means that there's $8.7 billion right now locked up for 6.44 years. So how do you get involved? Well, how do you buy HEX? Well, you get MetaMask, which is a decentralized wallet. You buy Ethereum on your centralized exchange or wherever you buy your crypto. It might be Coinbase or Crypto.com. You buy your ETH and you send your ETH to your MetaMask, and then you can swap your ETH for HEX. Once you've got HEX, then you can stake your HEX. And when you stake your HEX, it is locked. There are very big penalties if you unstake before the term that you agree to stake it for. There's some tutorials here on the website when you're doing that. Also, when you do stake it, and we've got a stake here, this is about $1,000 for 15 years. You can see that you'll get some bonuses depending if you're staking longer or bigger. You hit max bonuses when you stake for at least 10 years. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, 10 years, 15 years, what is this? We don't know that this is going to be around. Well, that's up to you to really decide. when you transfer your ETH into HEX, and when you stake your HEX, and then at the end of the stake, when you unstake your HEX, and you also mint the rewards from the inflation as well as other early or late end stake penalties, you're incurring gas fees. Okay, gas fees are what happen when you need to do a transaction on a blockchain. And Ethereum right now is struggling to manage this because of the growth of their ecosystem, of their blockchain. The gas fees on Ethereum to stake and unstake can be $70, $120. It's all variable depending on the congestion in the network at that time. Now, Ethereum is trying to move to a proof of stake consensus as opposed to a proof of work. It might take years. And the issue with that transition is that Ethereum is already running. It's kind of like trying to change the wheels on a bus when the bus is moving. And so because HEX has been an incredibly successful product in terms of staking and unstaking, incurring all these fees, I think we've seen a longer average stake of 6.44 years, because it doesn't make sense to put a sum of money staked for 3 months, 6 months, a year, when you're paying maybe $200 in fees to do that. So Richard Hart is launching Pulsechain. It's been in the works for about a year now. The latest is that in mid-May, the Pulsechain blockchain will go to the mainnet, which means, it's already in testnet right now. They're working out the kinks and the bugs. It's a proof of stake blockchain, which is essentially an Ethereum fork. It means they've copied Ethereum, switched it to proof of stake, and they're about to unleash it into a crypto world that is very fed up with paying ridiculous gas fees on Ethereum. So this is a very formidable Ethereum competitor. Why? Because there's over 300,000 HEX users that are automatically going to be going into the Pulsechain network to stake and unstake. They've already got the Pulseswap, which is the Uniswap of Pulsechain, ready to go. I actually sacrificed some HEX and some ETH to the Pulsechain launch as well as the Pulseswap launch. Those phases are over, so to get these tokens you will have to wait for the launch. Usually after a launch you'll get fireworks. There might be a dip as a lot of people take profits straight away. Again, look back at what happened when HEX launched. The people who really won big were the ones who waited and had patience. These people are staked for a very long time. So make sure that you're diversifying your portfolio between the amount of HEX that you stake and you leave liquid. So Pulsechain will be proof of stake. This is a pretty big concept to understand as you're learning about crypto. Bitcoin is proof of work, and it requires computer processing power to do math in a process that's called mining, basically unfolding the Bitcoin algorithm. Proof of stake is not so much about the computing power, it's about staking and locking your tokens as part of the network, and they verify and validate the information on that network, which you're then rewarded with the transaction fees. So big things are coming to this network. I've shared on my Twitter, and I recommend you follow me there so we can stay in touch with more timely information. Sam Miller Life. I dropped 10 different lessons that I learned from some of these Deca millionaires inside the HEX system. Stefan, for example, built the Staker app, which is an app that I recommend for managing your stakes. It actually is where I got this data here. Obviously he can see a lot of the data, a lot of the information that's happening. One of the big consequences of the Pulsechain blockchain, which is going to make it very cheap and easy to stake and unstake HEX on Pulsechain, is that I expect the average duration of a stake will drop dramatically. And I think we're going to start seeing people set up very sophisticated staking ladders, which means that people are going to be planning out their retirement and planning out their passive income lifestyle using HEX. So instead of now by staking, each year, maybe each year on your birthday, you have a stake that is expiring, you're cashing out the interest and then restaking the principal. You may start seeing staking ladders that are every month or every quarter that you're starting to cash out and reinvest. So you might see. So if you're 5 years away from retirement, you could essentially start putting away each paycheck into a 5-year stake for the next 5 years and guarantee yourself 5 years of payouts. Now, how much is the token of HEX going to be worth at that time? Well, that's a good question. We talked about that a lot when we went to the Ukraine for a marketing journey organized by Gary Woods here on the right in the blue jacket, Funding Jim on Twitter. Very recommended to follow him. He's a master networker, also one of the OG HEX investors. And he brought a lot of us together in the Ukraine to talk about what does it mean to get the word out about this product and the value that this product delivers to people. And it was a lot of fun. We connected with billionaires and the crypto exchange movers and shakers in the Ukraine. We talked about strategies, advice for the ecosystem. We flew on helicopters to go and see Chernobyl. We rode on Sherps, which are all-terrain vehicles, land, mud, water. We rode on some old tanks. It was really a content mission. It was about creating content, shooting some guns. That was a bit of fun. We did some TikToking. That was pretty embarrassing. We talked dinner, right? We had a lot of networking dinners. We talked about a lot of ideas around what's happening. And in general, we just had a blast enjoying what it means to really have financial freedom. A lot of these guys are retired now. And it's their full-time dedication now is spreading the word about HEX. As you can see in my map of the metaverse, I've been holding HEX for a long time, and I plan to hold HEX for a much longer time. I think this is the first mover into the blockchain product in DeFi, in decentralized finance, and those first movers with the head start of hundreds of thousands of users now, I only see this community and this brand growing even more. I think they are the category king of blockchain certificate of deposits now. And what that means is they'll end up dominating the blockchain deposits of the future, having 70 to 80% of the market share based on what happens. And I actually have one of the quotes from Richard Hart on my signposts inside my map, which is markets transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. So when we're doing these very long-term stakes, we're opting out of that, and the mental benefits of making those stakes, even if you just put $100 away for 15 years time and you see that money working, there's a change of a chip that really, I think, benefits a lot of people and starts actually giving them something to look forward to. So on top of the financial benefits of staking HEX, I think there's a lot to be said for the mental health benefits of staking HEX. as many traders, as many of us come into the space looking to make money, get rich quick, and getting wrecked and burnt in these short-term trades that are pumping and dumping all over the place. One of the surest things that you could do to reward your future self is to lock away value for the long term. And I think that idea has spreading power. I do see that idea growing across the planet. And with the head start that HEX.com has, with the community that's being built, we're seeing the ups and downs of decentralized marketing. They've bought the world's largest diamond. They're sponsoring NASCAR. I'd say these are some of the ups. But some of the downs is that, you have 300,000 people who are essentially the marketing department of this new bank, which offers one product, which is a certificate of deposit. And I really do think that is going to be blazing the trail for a lot of financial products in the future. Yes, it's a bizarre persona and story behind it, but I think that's crypto. That's the new world. The people who are taking more risk earlier on end up getting higher exponential rewards. So that's my assessment of the ecosystem. Let me know what you guys think about HEX below. Through Gary, I've gotten to know the system very well and what's going on in it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Even do another video if you want me to dive into other areas of the ecosystem. Until the next video, I invite you to embrace your fears and your judgments, because sometimes it's our fears and our judgments that are blinding us to future dreams that we didn't even know existed yet. See you guys in the next video.